Greetings and welcome everyone to episode number 2 of the Z-Hack and Witness Show. First of all, we want to start by saying thank you everyone for checking out episode number 1. We appreciate you riding with us, and you know where to find us now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, the Z-Hack and Witness Show. You just type those easy words in and we'll obviously be there for you guys. And some big news, episode number 2 is brought to you by absolutely no one because we don't have sponsors yet. But yeah, we're looking to get there eventually.
I thought you knew something I didn't know.
Anyone knows? No. You know, you hear everyone, shouting out Chipotle, Cash App, this, that, and the third. So, hey, we're open, we're available, and we're ready for the sponsorship. I think we're good to go with that.
Right.
But yeah, welcome everyone to episode number 2, a big one here today. And I told you we were going to be consistent with it. You all thought we were going to record episode number 1. That was it. Never be back again. But lo and behold, even though Witness had a big banger of a birthday this past week, we are still here. So yeah, happy birthday, bro. How was that? How are things rolling? What'd you do?
That was good. Thank you for the wishes. No, it was good. We just kind of hung out with the family. My birthday was on Sunday, but we kind of did everything actually on Saturday. So wife's side of the family, our family, just hung out, went swimming, kind of had some drinks, some burgers, ice cream, cake, all the goods. So it was a good time. Nice to just relax. Hadn't seen a lot of people actually for a while because of COVID and everything that's going on. So it was kind of nice to see everyone for the first time in a little bit. So that was good. What about you?
The adult beverages and ice cream cake. What kind of cake is like your go-to for the birthday? Like if you have, like whenever you can just have one cake, what is it for you? Because mine is red velvet. That's my go-to no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking just cake, I think it's probably a vanilla cake, a white cake with white frosting.
Okay, but you had ice cream cake.
We had ice cream cake, so I like ice cream cake a lot too. So it was a triple layer cake. So there was devil's food cake in there, and then there was sweet cream ice cream with chocolate chips, and then there was chocolate ice cream with Oreo chunks, and it was all wrapped in a lovely layer of chocolate frosting or something. I don't remember, but
so you spent $200 on the birthday cake.
Yeah, that was the most expensive thing. So. But yeah, no, it was a good time. We had a good time. It was nice to just relax and kick back with everyone. So,
what about the adult beverages? I know you're a beer guy more than a cocktail kind of dude.
Yeah,
so is it just all Miller Lights the whole day?
It was Miller Lights. I had a couple local brewery beers from a place called Santan Brewery that's out here in Arizona. So Devil's Ale, as well as a Hop Shock is another one that I like from there. So had a couple of those around dinner time, but when you're out by the pool or just chilling playing yard games, it's Miller Lights for me.
Yeah, you can't throw down the hefty IPAs when you're playing cornhole.
Not early.
It's called cornhole. It's cornhole, by the way. It's not bags. It's cornhole for everyone that's saying anything in the comments. Yeah, I'm 4 Peaks, dude. 4 Peaks out here. Peach Ale and Kilt Lifter are my 2 that I've been going to, and then a big wine guy now. Just a glass of red blend at night. Oof.
I've never been able to get on the wine train. It's not for me.
Special. Just kick up the socks, watch a couple episodes of The Office on Netflix. Can't beat it.
There you go.
What about so what is that now? We're 3 years apart. 27?
Yeah, 27.
Lit. 27, kid on the way. Huge times for you. What about the week for gaming? How's all that been going? I know you've been busy with, like we said, birthday work and everything. So what's the gaming week look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, so the past week, actually on Wednesday, the new, quote unquote new, it's kind of like a version 3.5 set for Teamfight Tactics came out. So that's a game that I play a lot. And so that came out on Wednesday. So what they did is typically in the past, they would bring out a whole new set. So it could be the same characters, but they would have new and different abilities and different things. So you'd have to relearn everything for the new set. What they did this time, because they typically cycle sets every like 3 months. So what they did this time, though, is they removed a handful of characters and added in some more characters, but they kept a lot of base characters from the set. So there's only like 3 or 4 new classes, and then there's only like 12 or 15 new characters. So you didn't really have to like relearn everything, which was kind of nice. So I kind of played that to learn this week, and then placed in my ranked games so I could try and continue my grind back up through the ranked in that. But played that for a bit, dabbled in a little League, a little Warzone, all that stuff, just kind of, when I'm killing some time.
How much does TFT actually translate to like regular League of Legends? Because I've always watched you play it, but I always look at it like it's just chess. So
Yeah.
I've played League, and it's just like, when I'm like building on certain champions, I know what I'm doing. Do I have to have like that sense of intellect with the item shop in TFT also?
So yes and no. I mean, so all the characters are from League, so it's like if you've played League, you'll be familiar with the characters and all of the ultimate abilities that each character has. So how TFT works is you have your auto attacks, and then as their mana pool grows, from either getting attacked or attacking, they will cast their ultimate. And so the ultimate is going to be one of the three abilities or the ultimate of the character from League. So.
Okay.
If you've played the characters, you'll know kind of what those abilities do and what to expect from them. And then items pretty much transfer from the actual game over to this. Your synergies and classes are different though, so it's like there's different things that happen for each one, and like what they can do. So certain items are better on certain things, but it's one of those things like if you play it for a couple weeks, or watch some streamers play it, you would pick up kind of like what items to use where and all that stuff. It's not as complex and build heavy based as actual League, in my opinion. It's a lot more characters and meshing those synergies together to gain those attributes that they give you. So it's definitely a fun game. I like it a lot. It's very chill. Obviously, you can be competitive with it when you're playing ranked and you're not rising. That can be annoying, but it's a nice game to kind of kick back and chill. It's not very high stress. You're only making a handful of keystrokes or clicks every 30 seconds, and then they auto battle. So it's a nice game. It's a nice change of pace from playing, shooters and battle royales constantly and having that high intensity gameplay always. So,
Right.
but
That's the grind that I've been on lately. I'm so addicted to Warzone. It's absolutely ridiculous. And that you're talking about that, literally. So this week for me, I had my PR. I got a 18 kill solo dub in Warzone.
nice.
And I don't even know how it happened. I dropped Superstore, and then I was just kind of roasting everyone there, and there was a couple bounties there. And let me stop myself right here. I wasn't streaming or recording, so I don't have any of the footage. I just have a screenshot of the
No
of the
proof.
scoreboard. Yeah, I know. So I was just kind of like relaxing and vibing, like, yeah, I'm only gonna play a couple games, and then that happened, and like halfway through, I knew that I was onto something big, and I was like, shit, I should have been recording this whole thing the whole time. But I don't even know if it was like ego challenging, but I just had like 4 bounties in the general vicinity of like Superstore and everywhere around it. So I just ran and went and challenged literally everything in the game, and I didn't lose a single gunfight. And then at the end of it, I got such good positioning on a side hill, and I was like, I have the high ground. I know I'm not losing this. And
Nice.
picked up the final 2 kills and ripped an 18 bomb. And I was just like, yo, let's go. And then I was like, oh, I'm not recording
I'm
anything.
not streaming.
So I had that. And then I was streaming today. I was playing trios with Perxican and Alaverga. And oh my God, I hit the clip. I had a nasty 3-piece. So
Nice.
they're both dead. I was solo by myself, and then it's by the fire station by downtown. I drop out of the sky there straight onto our free loadout that came in, and then one of these kids' teammates, another squad of 3, he dropped out of the sky going to fire station. So I rip him with my MP5, and then there was one more on the fire station, another one on my roof. So I'm kind of pinched between the two of them. Get some shots into the kid that's on the top of the roof by like the downtown area buy station, the one that's to like the right side of soccer fields from that perspective. And I see him jump down. So I go out, challenge him, fry him, and then I have no plates left. And I'm just like, oh, I have no idea what I'm going to do. And the other kid, I know where he's coming around, and I see him out of the corner of my eye. I jump out, jump shot, ego challenge, and just absolutely destroy him. And I pick up the squad wipe.
Nice.
But yeah, man, I've just been so addicted to Warzone lately. And I think that
You and a lot of people.
yeah, I mean, everyone is basically. And the funny thing is, so many people are transitioning from playing other stuff or other BRs and not even playing Call of Duty and just going straight to Warzone for the BR sort of gameplay. And I think, honestly, Warzone saved this Call of Duty because the multiplayer gameplay in this Call of Duty and Modern Warfare is pretty stale. And like, I hate the stuff that they're doing now where they make like, I don't know, their base like 8 set of maps and maybe 3 of them are good. And then they just bring back Crash and Shipment and Vacant and these maps they've brought back hundreds of times. And I think it's a stupid thing to do because the pacing and movement in every game is different. So some of the maps don't
Yeah, they
work the
don't
way
play
they did.
well. Yep.
Yeah, like Vacant in the original COD 4 when it was is like the perfect map for that game, and Crash the same thing for when that map originated. But when you bring it back to these games, it's like it's kind of wacky. Like I think the one that was okay for Jetpack's Terminal when they brought back that map in Infinite Warfare, that was
Yeah,
dope.
that was
But
pretty good still.
I mean, I just think that they're stopping the creativity.
Hmm.
Skill-based matchmaking kind of just sucks the life out of everything. Even in Warzone too, with that, it kind of takes it away because you could have fun and go just absolutely wreck everyone. But like if you're sitting at a 2 KD like us, you're gonna get matched with kids like that who are like trying pretty hard throughout the game. So then you can't
Right.
like you can't sit back and just game like this. You got to put on like your Nick Merckx forehead and try and
Right.
grind the entire game. So
Yeah.
I just think that the multiplayer in this Modern Warfare was kind of stale, and the what am I trying to say? The aesthetics too, like the camos. There's no reactive camos in
Yeah.
dark matter. There's nothing to really grind for
Yeah.
in multiplayer. So I think Warzone came to save the day because
Hmm.
it's super addicting, fast paced, and you can just go from gunfight to gunfight, never be bored. So I sort of think that it saved the day. And season 4 just came out too, and I think they shot themselves in the foot again. Season 4, it comes out, it was dope right away. So they had they added fire sale to it. I don't know if you played with that,
Yeah. The
but
different. Yeah.
literally in the middle of the game, it was so cool because you could be out of the game and only have like $1,000. Then a fire sale comes up and you can buy back a teammate, get a free self res, and I thought that forced a lot of engagements at buy stations and did a lot of other different things for the game.
Right.
And then they took that out after like 3 days of it being in, and now it's just kind of back to the same gameplay, no new points of interest on the map or anything. So
Right.
I think there's still work to be done with Warzone, but I definitely think it's awesome and has saved this Call of Duty.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I definitely don't play that as much as you do, but it's one of those things that every year when a COD comes out, I'm still stuck in the cycle of I'm hype about it, I'm gonna get it, and then you play it and you're like, oh, well, I'm not that excited anymore.
Yeah,
So
you grind it for a month and it's like the
yeah,
best thing ever, and
I
then
would,
it's like,
yeah.
wait,
It's one of those things where it's like you're excited every year just because it's like for us growing up, that's all we played. So it's like you're super nostalgic about it. And I think speaking back to what you're talking about with maps, it's like I think that developers know that they can utilize the nostalgia to kind of I don't use the word prey on their base
their
of
target audience.
their audience and everything, but
Yeah,
like they know that when people see like oh Vacant's coming back or Crash is coming back or Shipment or Countdown, any of these maps that they've remastered and put into games, like they know that anyone that's been playing Call of Duty for the last decade is going to be interested in wanting to play those maps on new games and seeing them remastered and
right.
everything. So it's like I think they kind of utilize that a little bit more than everyone would like to see. Like you're saying, they'd like to see new maps, new creative, displays of everything, but they continue to just kind of fall back on these old nostalgic maps that people loved and people enjoyed playing on. But like you said, pacing, types of guns, attachments, kill streaks, movement abilities, all that stuff was not around 10 years ago. So it's like
Right.
they don't play as well on the newer games. So you kind of see that a little bit. But I mean, I definitely think it's one of those things that it allowed for a new type of game to kind of take over in a sense. I mean, I think Fortnite's still around, and there's definitely a lot of people that still play that regularly and
Well,
follow that scene. Yeah,
they just had their live event too.
Yep. So I saw that. I know their new season and chapter, however they're labeling them now, are starting today or tomorrow, I think. And so I just think it gives the opportunity for the gamer, average gamer, or viewer of Twitch or whoever to have something new and different, but in the same genre. Because a lot of people, kind of like myself, got a little bored of Fortnite and a little stale on it for a lot of the same reasons, in that like the skill based stuff, the types of plays and types of abilities and things they had to do in the game to actually be
Right.
successful. Like the meta from way early now to just like every fight is an insane build fight, editing, all this stuff, to where it's like the average gamer like me who doesn't play all day every day, I was like, I can't handle these build fights and these edits and all this stuff. I was like, I'm too slow. I can't. Maybe that's just the boomer in me, I guess. I don't know. Like,
No,
I just can't
I
handle it.
totally agree with you. I think that's the biggest problem with Fortnite that sort of got me away from playing it, because you and I, and like many other people as well, we work 40-hour weeks,
Right.
and all these other kids are literally just like when they start up Fortnite, they go in creative for like an hour and just practice their edits and stuff. And I don't have the time to do that. Like
Yeah.
I get home and I just want to hop on and play a few games. And the skill gap from me, I'm down here. Like
Yeah.
I can build, I can do 90s, I can do stuff like that. But these kids that can like edit pyramids and
Yep.
cone me and all this stuff, it's not even fun for me to play that anymore.
Yeah, I would agree. And so I think that's kind of where I was getting at with just, it's nice to have another type of BR that, because I do love the Battle Royale genre. I think it's very unique. And over the last few years, we've seen a lot of developments in other games with, BRs and everything. But, with Warzone, it's one of those things that it exploded because of the amount of content creators and people on Twitch that really took to it. And, now you have every major streaming figure is typically playing Warzone, and they have all these different tourneys every week that, are, content kind of tourneys where they're, get these invites for big content creators. And so they're playing in these tourneys for Warzone every week. And so it's like, when they have the ability to have that much exposure and that much success for their own channels and content because of this game, it's the same thing with that would happen with Fortnite. It's like, that's going to drive so many more people to the game because they want to get good at it, because not only is there money to be won for them, but they know the effect and the positive effect it's having on their channel as far as growth, follows, subs, exposure, endorsement deals. I've seen this past week, I've seen a handful of people talk about being new affiliates and sponsored by like iBuyPower PC.
Yep.
I know TP, as well as I forget the other guy I saw that was sponsored by them recently.
I think it was Dennis. I think it was Cloaksy. I think
Oh
he got
yes, you're right.
sponsored
You're
by
right. Yeah,
Power too.
yeah. So like all of this, like, that is all opportunity created by Warzone and by the
Right.
success that game's having. So I think that it's definitely something where, as the more and more traction and views and eyes and everything that it gets, it's gonna, I think just the way the world works now, it's gonna turn into Fortnite. I think eventually, where it's gonna be over criticized and just have a hyper lens on it of, oh, this is no good in the game, and then the developers are gonna try and change things, and people are gonna be like, oh, that's not what we wanted. Like, we want old Warzone, the original season, and then they try and change things, and it's like, oh, it's not the same, and so
You can never please everybody.
no,
Ever.
exactly. So I think right now it's in a really good spot. I think it's still going to have a lot of traction, a lot of popularity. But it'll be interesting to see, because Call of Duty is one of those games that it's an annual cycle. So I don't know what's going to happen as far as like when this coming fall, October, November comes around and the new Call of Duty comes out like it does every year. It'll be interesting to see what happens if the developer, because the developer cycle, how Call of Duty works, every 3 years a different developer is the one that's producing the game. It'll be interesting to see if they have a BR on launch, because this game did not. Warzone was not at launch of this Call of Duty. It took another 3 months before it even came out. So a lot of the streamers that were playing the BRs of the old Call of Duty Blackout were playing that still 3 to 4 months into this new Call of Duty. They didn't play the new multiplayer on this one. They just stuck with Blackout from previous Call of Duty Black Ops 4. So it'll be interesting to see if there is a BR on launch of the new one, and if the amount of viewership and player base transitions to the new Call of Duty because of Warzone. I definitely think it will, as far as like more people are going to be buying the new Call of Duty in anticipation of that. That probably maybe wouldn't have last year because of Warzone not being a thing yet. But it'll be interesting to kind of see what happens with that, because of the whole annual cycle of Call of Duty. It's like, oh, got a new game, so the life cycle is like 8 months of Call of Duty. So it'll be interesting to kind of see what happens, in my opinion.
I've heard a lot of rumors that have gone both ways with that too. So first of all, we've gotten the rumor that it's going to be like Cold War was going to be the theme or the title name of it.
Right.
And then now there's been rumors that at least the preview release or whatever, the initial one, has been delayed because the development is behind. And then I've heard possibly the actual release of the game is going to be a little bit behind. And then as far as the battle royale thing goes with the next one, I've heard rumors that it's going to go back to Blackout, and I've also heard rumors that Warzone is the baseline and it's going to stay at least with the same mechanics or basis of Warzone, and then they're going to integrate new things to it. So everyone is up in the air on that right now, and like I said, it's all rumors.
Right.
So I think, I don't know, as long as you have a battle royale, whether it's like Warzone 2.0 or goes back to an enhanced version of Blackout, I think as long as you have one, you're going to keep the masses happy, because like we're talking about, that is the trend right now. That's what everyone is interested in. They've kind of gotten away from the multiplayer side of things and wagers, and even competitive. The CDL this year is it's still really good, and I've enjoyed watching it, absolutely, but it's just hard with especially everything that happened with COVID, because
Right.
all the teams were they're franchised now, so they're having their home series events.
Yeah.
And I saw Arcidy's tweet the other day. He said, "Man, I wish we could have had CDL Chicago." And I
Yeah.
responded and I said, "It literally would have been Anaheim on steroids,
Yeah.
because Chicago is scump and formal, so everyone was going to want to go to that home series,
Yeah.
just because those are the faces of Call of Duty." But obviously that couldn't happen, so all the tournaments are online right now. So
Right.
there's sort of just all the pro players in the scene are saying, lag, it's not the same as LAN, you're not actually winning, there's a lot of bugs and this and that and hosts, and there's a lot of complaints. So I think that's gotten people away from that. But also, for the next title to be successful is kind of the route that we started to talk about. I think you Call of Duty, you have to have a competitive playlist in it.
Yeah.
Like they have not had a good ranking system for people to grind towards in forever. Like, I really don't understand how hard it is when I see playing League of Legends. That's like the best ranking system that's ever been created. It's like, you're unranked, you play your placement games, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, challenger, grandmaster, whatever it is.
Right.
And if you want to get paired and play ranked games and super competitive, then you go into the ranked playlist.
Right.
If you want to pub stomp, have it not be skill based, and just filter everyone into the public matches, and that way you can play against people of all skill levels, so the content creators can make the YouTube videos, and it's not grinding against people with 3 KDs every time you join into a lobby. So
Right.
I think for the next Call of Duty title to be successful, either build off this battle royale or bring Blackout back and make some adjustments, aesthetic things. Like Call of Duty, I know that they're trying to get so realistic with it nowadays and everything, but Black Ops 3 was like the best title aesthetically with everything, like all the skins and
Yep.
gestures and camos and dark matter and reactive stuff. Like, make it fun and cartoonish and childish, but like the gameplay can be realistic, and try and find a balance with that, and even bring color to the maps and everything. Like, a lot of them are just destructed old war zone, like war struck towns, and it's like just dark and grim. Like, bring some color to the maps and have some fun with it. So I think like that, unique public matches, not skill-based matchmaking, a good battle royale, and then a competitive ranked playlist separated from public playlist is like the biggest thing to the next success. But what we originally started talking about with Warzone, we just think it's brought so much good to everyone, like on Twitch and everything, because you've been able to have these kill race tournaments and these charity tournaments, and it's allowed content creators to run their own tournaments. I know we talk about Nick Merckx all the time, but the MFAM Gauntlet, he literally allows his subs to come in and like, this is your time to show who you are. And there have been people that have gained traction from winning his Gauntlet tournaments for a couple weeks in a row. So I think that's the goodness that the battle royales and Warzone especially has brought. But with that, there has also been a lot of controversy the past couple of weeks in some of the tournaments, especially the last one. I know the biggest thing, basically the $150,000 tournament that there was, basically the team that won it had crossplay disabled.
Right. Yeah, that's one of those things where, I mean, it came down to technically, it was a technicality, because the site that was running the tournament, they weren't on pace, I guess, with all the other tournament sites that have been out there, or Nick's tournaments, or anyone else, that's been running tournaments. That crossplay, obviously is a fairly new thing to this world as far as being across Xbox, PS4, and PC. But crossplay has been required in all these other tournaments to be enabled, so that all the lobbies are mixed between PC inputs and console inputs. Yeah, that like you were referring to, the team that won was all playing on PS4, so their lobbies were only console players because they didn't have crossplay enabled. So there are just people that felt like, not that it was necessarily cheating, but that it was just a little kind of, a little scummy or a little taking advantage of the system, just because, we have crossplay enabled in all these other tournaments that we're all playing in. Everyone plays in these same tournaments, all these big public figures and content creators, and then it's like, this site didn't have it required, so they didn't turn it on. And so it's like, people were just saying it puts you into easier lobbies and all that stuff. I think you can go in circles and circles and around and debating that, because, you have the whole age-old aim assist on console versus not, and whatever. So I think it's one of those things that at the end of the day, I don't think it's a huge deal. Most of these players are frying regardless. So it's like, like you said, there's skill-based matchmaking, so it's like these guys all have high KDs, so it's like they're going to be getting in lobbies with players that they're not bots, like they're going to have at least a knowledge of the game and a decent KD. So, you can make the argument that it's like, okay, like, I think people turn it on the head, and that, oh, it's a console lobby, it's going to be easy, but then it's like, okay, well, then I'm on that side of the aisle, but now you PC players are then just kind of making my point for me that PC is so much better, because you're saying, oh, it would have been harder if PC players were in my lobby.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, which one is it then? Is it that aim assist is so good and like I'm so much better because of it, or that, oh, PC players are way better, so that would have made your lobby harder? So to me, I think it's just a big old wash of they're all good, they're all gonna be killing a bunch of people. So at the end of the day, it's a formality. If it's a big issue, make sure the website that's running the tournament knows kind of the gentleman's agreement to these tournaments.
Simple as that.
But I think at the end of the day, it's not a huge deal. Again, it was for charity, so it's like people just like to get worked up over those little things.
Yeah,
but
it's for charity, but everyone's still going to be super insanely competitive.
For sure.
It's a tournament. Like, that's what's in the blood of these guys. I'm competing in this. I want to win, and I want to be the one to raise the most money and do all that. So the team that won was Delio, Scraps, and Jukies, and then they beat the God Squad content creators of Symphony and then Aiden, and I think they were playing with Huskers as well. Right, so it was those three. The second I mentioned, they came in second and lost to the other three console players. So like you said, skill-based matchmaking, they were probably in a lobby with kids anywhere from 3 to 7 KDs, 3 to 5, 3 to 7 KDs. So I mean, it's going to be a challenge regardless, and every one of the teams is going to be popping off and showing out, but it's just we're all going to hate each other in the gaming community forever at the end of the day. Like, I think I'm a controller player. I use a Scuff. Shout out Scuff. Maybe one day use code ZHack for 5% off. You never know. one day. So you can pay for this. You get the advantage to be able to click these buttons to jump, and I can aim and shoot at the same time. But on the other hand, when you're on a PC, you can click 4 different keys to do something at once, and you're tracking with the mouse, and your sensitivity is basically unlimited, and you can snap however you want with that, to whereas it's a lot harder to control that on a controller when you're using a joystick rather than a mouse and keyboard. So that argument will go on forever and ever. But talking about how cracked and the ability that a lot of these PC mouse and keyboard players have, another controversy stemming from this past week was with Symphony, and the kid is just a god at video games. First of all, started with Fortnite and brought into Warzone. Yeah, he's literally like one of the most disgusting shots that I've ever seen in my life. But he has the accusations of hacking coming at him. So you've actually played Warzone on mouse and keyboard, so I'll let you delve into it. I personally see in the clip, I can see how people say he's hacking, but I just think his map awareness, game awareness, and tracking is insane. And then also, these guys are playing like 10 to 12 hours a day. So they're just going to start pre-firing stuff and shooting just to try and get clips. And I sort of think it's a combination of that happening, and he knew, but it was a disgusting play.
Yeah, no, I think that, I mean, by no means do I have anywhere near the aim that he has. But I mean, I've even said it when we've been casually playing, like, for the month or so I've been playing Warzone on PC now, after transitioning kind of from playing on console for a long time. Like, I'm using the exact same class as I used on my Xbox coming over to my PC, and maybe I should change that, and that would probably help me a little bit because I know certain stuff's better on console versus PC. But using the exact same class, I was like, I feel like I'm shooting laser beams on PC compared to on console, and I don't know if that's just because you do have that precision and have that ability to lock onto people and snap on people. Not that you can't do that on a controller, but I think the whole argument stems in that I think most people agree is there's a way higher ceiling on PC as far as aiming skill than on console. So, Symphony's been accused of aimbotting and hacking all the way back into Fortnite, and then even now going through on Warzone. He's tweeted about, like, I feel like once a week I'm getting accused of aimbotting and hacking. So
At least.
He obviously he's a content creator. He knows what sells. So even after all these clips came out, he tweeted that he was like, I've started just doing things to troll people and, make these insane flicks and aiming up at things that might not even have people in them just to kind of like troll with everyone and say like, I am this good and I am that good that it can look like I'm hacking sometimes.
Right.
So, and I think the biggest thing that shows the integrity of it, not that we haven't seen big figures get, caught using things like that, but I think the biggest thing that comes as far as like reputation is like seeing major figures like Shroud tweeted out and came to like his defense, and he saw the clip and said like, are people really thinking you're hacking there? Like, all I see is two nasty flicks. Like
Shroud's like, I do that with a pistol.
Yeah.
It wasn't even that cool.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like you got guys like Shroud and Maven. Not that Maven is a god by any means, because he likes to,
He's pretty nasty.
He's
dude.
getting better, but
I don't know. When I watched him like back in the day, a couple Call of Duties ago. For those of you who don't know Maven, he's a Call of Duty caster and he's a hilarious personality. But a couple CODs ago, and even in Blackout when he was playing with TP and Joe. Merc, aka, it was like, wow, you're getting hard carried. And in Warzone, I've been watching Maven. I'm like, dude, you're kind of gross with it, bro.
He's definitely getting better. But I mean, when you see like personalities like that, I know the TST boys, I know like Avery, a bunch of other guys on Twitter.
Courage,
Jack, same thing. They all came out saying like, he's nasty. These are things that people that are that nasty can do on PC, and to the average viewer, it's gonna look impossible, but for these guys, it's like this is what they do every day. Like you said, they play 10-12 hours a day. They're gonna have clips that end up looking like they're cheating and hacking because that's how good they are. So, and it's like you had people break down the clip, and you could it's happening all so fast, but it's like you could see the guy go into the truck that he then shot at, that people were saying, oh, he's hacking because he tried to wallbang that. I couldn't even see him. And it's like if you slowed the clip down, you could see it, and I'm sure he saw that because that's how good he is. So it's like I had to watch the clip back like 3 times before I even saw the guy. But yeah, I mean stuff like that, it's always going to be around. But I think at the end of the day, if people are really doing that, eventually they're going to get caught. But it's one of those things that when you have that content creators, they're going to milk any type of publicity they get. So it's that's what I was saying is he's starting to kind of troll everybody with it. There's another clip floating around with him that he's like shooting at someone on a mountain, and then he just like flicks up into the sky and starts shooting, and there isn't even anyone there, and then he comes back down and finishes killing the guy he was originally shooting at. So it's like he's just saying, my aim is this good, my snaps are this good, it's gonna be a thing. But
he has a good sense of humor to go with it too.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's at the end of the day, they're just trying to entertain, and that's where they're at. But I mean, kind of stemming into the whole cross-plat playing Xbox, PlayStation, PC. Another thing I know we wanted to talk about is over the last week or so, PlayStation 5 had their reveal, which came with the assumed Twitter and internet trolliness with the look of the console and everything that came along with that. But I know we kind of wanted to speak into kind of the next generation of consoles, what our thoughts were on those and everything. So I don't know if you want to lead off on kind of what you're thinking about with the new consoles and where they're going to go.
Yeah, so I mean, the reveal came out this past week, like you said, and a lot of people live reacted to it. You saw, I was watching Dr. Disrespect stream because I knew he was just gonna be a character.
This is hilarious.
So I knew that he was gonna react to it, and that was maybe gonna be funny for me. But I mean, At the end of the day, they're both next generation consoles. They're both going to be good. If you decide to get one, whichever one you choose to get is probably going to be fine for you. And then at the end of the day, also, obviously we have crossplay enabled nowadays. So most likely the main titles you're going to be able to play with one another. And if your friend gets one and you get the other, that had been the biggest thing with purchasing consoles in the past is, well, my certain friends have this. And that's what led me to buy a PS4. Literally, the thought process to me buying a PS4 was because I was so into Call of Duty, and that is the console, and Sony had the contract with back then the Call of Duty World League and MLG, Major League Gaming. So I wanted to have a PS4 because that's what all of them played on.
Yep.
And lo and behold, when me and you were playing the beta for Modern Warfare, we got into a game with Formal. I got into a game with Arcities, which is on my YouTube. I got into a game with Scump. So I've played with all these pro players because they were on PS4, but now it's crossplay. So that all, is a wash now. But as far as the initial specs go, it looks like the Xbox is going to be better. The Xbox Series X, the CPU and GPU are higher. So basically, for those of you who don't know what either of those do, it's the cross between and correct me if I'm wrong, because you've looked into PCs more, so you know about all these sort of behind the scenes aspects and technology. But basically, I think CPU is the one where you can multitask and the ability to do multiple things at once. So the Xbox Series X is a higher CPU, so it can run better while performing multiple tasks, as well as the GPU. So that's rendering for images and things of that nature. So basically, what it is going to result in is the graphics may be that step a little bit better, the rendering may be that much better, and then the ability to multitask on it may be that much better in the Xbox with those specs. So if you're watching on YouTube, we'll throw those up on the screen as well, all the specs that you can read for the numbers and everything like that. But I mean, I think that regardless which one you get, if you decide to get one, it's not going to be a bad idea with whatever you do. And I don't even know yet if my PS4, am I going to be able to play with these people, or if you have to have a next gen console or a PC, because the price ranges on these I think have been leaked from anywhere from $500 to $700 for them.
Right. Yeah, and that's the biggest thing too, is price point for a lot of people. And am I, like you just mentioned, am I going to be required to be purchasing one of these consoles to continue development of future games and play these future games with people and everything like that? I know as far as backwards compatibility and all that stuff, I know PlayStation has said almost all, I don't know why they can't just say all, so there must be some caveats, but almost all PlayStation 4 games are going to be backwards compatible to PS5. And then with Xbox, everything is backwards compatible to the Xbox One. And actually, they're continuing their support of some select Xbox 360 games that are backwards compatible still. So, it's hard because I have a bias. Obviously, I've been on Xbox forever. I have a PS4, but I don't utilize it that much. Honestly, the only reason I bought a PS4 was for kind of the next thing I know we were going to debate in with these is exclusives.
Right.
The only reason I bought a PS4 was to play MLB The Show, because I love baseball and I wanted to play those games, and so they're only on PlayStation, so that's the only reason I ever bought a PlayStation. And it's other than that, it just sits here and collects dust on my desk. So everything else I play has always been on Xbox, so I'm a little biased towards that. I mean, as far as exclusives go, I know Xbox is always going to have the Halo series. Halo Infinite's coming out this next year, so they have that, as well as another game that's called Hellblade. The second edition of that is coming in. That's a console exclusive. I've never actually played that series, so I'm not sure about that one. But and then PlayStation, I know a lot of people are excited about the new Spider-Man game. They saw that. That was kind of one of the games.
Miles.
Yeah, they
Miles Morales,
they used that game to heavily display the graphical potential and all that stuff of the new PlayStation. So during the release, so you have that. You have a Ratchet and Clank game as well. A handful of other games that are exclusive to PlayStation. So that's always a big factor in a lot of people's debate is, when your specs are as close as they are, although the CPU and GPU of the Xbox is technically better, a lot of people, it boils down to exclusives and what games are going to be exclusive to each console,
right,
and where your interests lie. So, I mean, that's one of those things that, like you're saying, at the end of the day, I think if you decide to buy one or the other, you're essentially getting the same power in the machine. If you really are going truly just for specs, then you're probably going to pick the Xbox because its
Right.
CPU is better, its GPU is better. As far as like storage and all that stuff, they're pretty similar. Xbox does hold the edge in that as well, though. As far as internal based in storage, they're at a terabyte, and the PlayStation's only like 800 gigs, so it's like a 200 gig difference on internal storage. But at the end of the day, I think as far as for me, I've kind of been making this transition into the PC world. So I think if I'm going to be spending money on anything tech in the future, it's going to be on either upgrading parts in my current PC or buying an entire new PC, to either have a 2 PC setup or just have another PC as an extra PC, either for my wife to play games on or whatever. So I don't know that I'll necessarily be buying either of these two consoles. I think my Xbox One X, I have like the latest. I don't even know if there's an edition name to it, but it's like I have the most recent released one. So it's like as far as the power of it and longevity of it, I think it's gonna do me fine if I want to play any console games coming up in the future. But so that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know if you have any plans to try and get the PS5, but I'm not sure that I will.
I think what I'm leaning towards is kind of because I've seen the price points on it, and if it hits that upper echelon price of like $700, just for everything and what I'm trying to do and try and start improving streams and everything, I don't see why I can't just spend a couple extra $100 to get a PC for it and be able to, because like what I've heard also, it is a comparison of the specs is like it's the specs of the two are like a good 2015 PC is basically like what these consoles are. So, I mean, just to my opinion, probably going to go for a PC, something where I'm able to hopefully have high enough CPU, GPU to be able to game and stream on it. Like that's kind of where I'm lying right now, because other than that, it would be, just a base like PC to stream off of my PS4 is what I was like originally looking at. But with those going out, if things are going to be exclusive or I can't play from my PS4 now to the current games that are coming out on the Xbox Series X and the PS5, then probably just get a PC to be able to game and stream and do both is sort of, if you guys are wondering our opinions on things and where we lie, I think just what I've seen and so many content creators and even people who play on controller or console right now, I think everyone will tell you the power is in the PC. And I mean, the capabilities that it has and the processing power and everything that you're able to do with it is just, it's going to be superior to a console at the end of the day. So I sort of think exclusive game wise, yeah, some of the stuff is cool. Like right now, the other day on PS4, I just bought the whole Jack and Daxter series. Nice. So you get like the original one, then Jack 2, Jack 3, and the Jack Combat X racing game. So I think I'm going to start doing like a throwback Thursday series where I play those and either stream them or put them on YouTube or something. So, because I love those games and that's nostalgia. That's nostalgia at its finest. So, but if you're not looking to play those exclusives to either of those platforms and everything is going to be able to be purchased on Steam or whatever other things you use for the PC, then I mean, the specs are going to be the highest on PC. So if that's what you're looking for and you're straying away from console, even if you're not playing on mouse and keyboard and you want to input a controller, I think it's the way to go.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's what a lot of people do. All your big streamers now are pretty much just, if they're controller players, they're playing on PC. For things like Warzone or Fortnite or anything like that, they're playing on PC, but they're inputting with a controller. So, I think it's definitely, most people are probably going to be leaning towards, if they're in this space of creation and everything, leaning towards PC and all that stuff. But it's two major companies, Sony and Microsoft, so obviously they know what they're doing. So there's still going to be a lot of people that are excited and wanting to purchase these consoles and these next gen units. So but yeah, I mean, that's kind of our thoughts there. I know that we're definitely big with all of our gaming and all of our ideas with that and everything there, but another aspect that we mentioned last week in our pilot episode that we want to talk about a lot is sports and that sports world. And yeah, there you go, Stanley Cup champs, Blackhawks. But obviously right now sports is a little lacking because of COVID-19 and everything that's been going on with that. No major sports leagues are currently playing really.
PGA Tour, baby.
PGA is back. Yes, they are back.
Schwab Cup, baby.
So I know we want to get into that, kind of like what it feels like with sports being gone, some sports coming back. So initial thoughts there as far as what sports world looks like right now.
I know a lot of these guys on the PGA Tour were super stoked to get back out there and just have the sense of competition. Like that's all that they were looking for. These guys at the professional, they fiend for that. That's what they're driven for. Yeah, it's their profession and they make a living off of it and they make money with that. But at the end of the day, they're competitive creatures and that's what they want. So shout out to Daniel Berger for winning the Charles Schwab Cup. I don't know if you watched any of it, but
Caught a little bit of
holy
it.
cow, golf is absolutely heartbreaking. Colin Morikawa like literally lips out a putt. It goes like almost a full 360. It goes off the right edge. It dropped into the hole and then popped back out and lipped out. And I think he was tied for the lead at the time. And that lipped out to put him one back. And then he ended up losing the tournament. But I think it's good to get the sense of competition back rolling for these guys. So that's the start of things. No fans, obviously, only necessary personnel was able to be there. So caddies, the players, TV crew and broadcast crew, and then like essential volunteers as well. We're able to be there for that event. But I personally don't think anytime soon there's going to be sports with fans. And I think there's going to be, in the fall, probably another resurgence of COVID. So that's going to slow things down even more. But talking about the major leagues and things that people are more into, the MLB has had a lot of controversy between their players and higher ups. And I know Rob Manfred, yeah, you're catching a lot of slack right now, buddy. You're slacking and catching a lot of flack right now from players and fans and everything, because basically he's the commissioner of the Major League Baseball, and he said initially, yeah, we're going to have a season. It's going to come back. We're putting things in the work. And then the other day he says, not too sure we're going to have a season in 2020.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, I've been following it for a while because, like I said, I'm a huge baseball fan, mentioning like I bought a PS4 just to play baseball games. So it's like I've been following it a lot. It's definitely heartbreaking for me just because like I love watching baseball. I'd come home from work, pop on a game because there's games on every day because it's baseball. But it's one of those things that you can tell it's definitely just a money power struggle between the ownership in major leagues and the players and the players union. And yeah, I mean, so the commissioner had essentially, like you mentioned, like said, like 100% we're having a season this year, no doubt about it. And in the last few days, he's kind of backtracked on that, saying, well, now I'm not so sure. And like there's even been owners and people, I don't think any names have been named, but just like how, media gains access to some information.
Right.
Like, owners saying that they're now on the side that they're willing to forego the entire 2020 season before they would agree to some of these like terms they're trying to come to an agreement on. And I don't understand. Obviously, there's so much more behind the scenes with money and TV rights and player contracts and endorsements and the idea that the revenues are going to be different because there aren't going to be fans at these games and everything like that. So, there's a lot that goes into it, but at the same time, I don't understand why they can't figure it out. A biggest part is that the players are wanting what's called 100% prorated salaries. So they want their salary that is in their contract that has been signed by both them and their base and their major league team organization that they've agreed upon. They want their salary as a prorated version of that. They understand I'm not playing 162 games this year, so I shouldn't be getting paid for 162 games, but I don't want to be getting paid even less for the games I am playing because
Right.
I'm still taking the same risks. I'm still playing the sport. I'm still generating you money, even though it might be less because we don't have fans. Why do I take an additional pay cut on that? Why is it not just prorated to what I would have been making for the year? So the biggest issue that they're running into is that since their revenues are going to be smaller because of no fans, because there's not really, like you mentioned, there's probably very little hope that there's going to be fans at these games in the near future. Is the money? The owners are saying we don't have the money. We're not going to have the money to pay these salaries at these prorated rates. So one thing that I've been reading and seeing, and I don't know if you follow him or know him that much, but Jared with Barstool, he's a big personality over there.
Is he the guy that is he on the Starting Nine podcast?
Yeah, so he does the Starting Nine. He's been doing the whole series with all the corona that's going on of the rock, paper, scissors with all the different athletes and everything like that.
I think I saw his sort of solution for all this
Yeah,
last night,
and
but I'll let you finish up.
that's what I was kind of getting into. Is he was like two words: deferred money. Which
Yep.
when he said that, I was like, how has this not been brought up yet? Like, how is this
How
not
stupid are
something
we?
that is being discussed? Like, essentially, what it means is, okay, I'm an owner. I'm not going to have the money this year to pay because we're not going to have fans. We're going to have less revenue. So what it means is, okay, sure, what we'll do is we'll agree to these 100% prorated salaries, but 25% of it is going to be in deferred money. So what that means is this year we're going to pay you the 75% that we've been talking about, and then over the next 2, 3, 4 years, whatever, in these remaining years of your contract, we will make up the 25% that you would have been owed for 100% prorated salary as we get these revenues back, as hopefully all of this passes and we find a solution and a vaccine and whatever. They can then have the increase again in their revenues to pay these players. And I was like, to me, that's bing bang boom. Like, to me, that's a no-brainer and getting it done. And I was like, when I saw that video that he posted, I was like, that's got to be a topic of discussion soon. Otherwise, there's a very high risk that they're going to not have baseball this year.
So the only questions that I had with that when I was thinking about it is, what if you do that the deferred money, but what if a player gets traded to a different team, contract moves over there, or someone retires or something? Then who's responsible for picking up that money? If I retired, are you still paying me that 25% over the next 3 years when I'm not even in the league anymore? Or how does all that work?
Yeah, so I mean the contracts. So how that works? There's actually some really funny contracts if you look into them. There's a guy, I forget what his name is, but there's a guy, I believe, for the New York Mets, maybe, that has been retired for like 15 years and he's still getting over $1 million check.
Oh yeah, the Dan Levitard show talks about that like at least once a month.
Yeah.
Once a month, I'm pretty sure he is on the Mets too.
So, anyways, there's some crazy contracts, but yeah, essentially, like if someone played this year or next year and then retired, and the pro rate is still for another 3 years to make up this lost money, the team that had them when they retired would be responsible for it. If someone gets traded, typically when these trades go down, I mean, obviously there's different ways in these trades and clauses and buyouts and different money and stuff, but typically if a team trades for another and there's another player and there's still 2 or 3 years left on their contract, that new team takes on and agrees to honor the contract that is currently in place for that player. So player movement and all that stuff, it would all get worked out in the details of the contract. So I don't think that would be an issue as far as who's paying the money and where's it coming from. If someone trades for a player, they would have their legal team look into their contract, and if they saw something they definitely didn't like in the contract, they would either try to negotiate that to where the previous team pays for that still, or renegotiate the contract with the player. And if that all happens and the trade falls through, it happens all the time. But yeah, I think the biggest thing is it's just disappointing because it's like more and more people are realizing how much of money is causing this problem. And it's hard for the average citizen to look at this and see players making millions of dollars, the league making billions of dollars. And it's like, how can we not come to an agreement to give baseball to the people that support these teams and support this league for centuries? So that's where I'm at. I'm like, at the end of the day, realize that the rest of the world has gone through an economic crisis because of COVID. You're going to take a hit to your freaking pocket. So get the sport back on the field, let them play, figure it out, make the players happy so they're willing to play, find a way to do it that allows the owners to not feel like they're backed into a corner and they don't have money to pay, and just get baseball back on the field. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's hard with everything going on because we still, I mean, gosh, cases are still happening, things are still going on. Like, I know a lot of people have like returned to the world and just like put it to the side, but it's not even near over yet, and you still have to treat it like it's it's obviously still here. We can't just go back to the normal world. But with that being said, like, so you have to be cautious, take precautions, and players should be getting tested every like 3 days. I've heard is something that the NFL hasn't planned to make sure anyone that comes in the facilities doesn't have it and everything, because you're just worried about spreading it to other people, and a lot of people can be ignorant in that sense and say, well, I'm going to be fine. Well, you have to think about when you go to the grocery store who you spread it to. That person goes home to their ill grandmothers. So I think people need to be considerate of others and think about who you could be harming. But if there is a way that these players can get back on the field with no fans in a safe manner to be able to stop the spread and get them to be able to play, I think it should be figured out. And I know that other leagues have kind of found their baseline of what they're going to do. Like I think the NBA's plan is to return with 24 teams. I think there was like 9 from the Eastern Conference and an additional however many, like 15 or whatever from the Western Conference. And then I think the NHL was going to do 22 teams, best of 5 series, and a round robin tournament is what they were going to do to pick up with their playoffs.
Right.
So these other leagues have a plan, but like we've said, the NHL and the NBA, they were already undergoing their seasons and in the middle of them when everything was kind of paused and canceled. To whereas the NFL, they haven't even started, and the MLB never started either. So I think trying to figure stuff out is important to get things back, and it's obviously going to be with no fans for however long. We don't know when there's going to be able to have fans back, because we have to take these necessary precautions in society to take care of one another and be able to keep each other safe. So we don't know how long that fans aren't going to be there. But I mean, I think that enhances the buildup of sports coming back even more, because that's going to get so many more people playing fantasy, so many people gambling, so many more people like contributing in these other places of the sports where maybe we haven't seen as much impact before.
Right.
And like, I don't know, just thinking about fantasy football gets me stoked. Like, I'm ready for it.
Yeah, no, I mean, fantasy football is definitely a big part. I know we're in a league together and I'm in other leagues, but like,
I got smoked last year. Holy cow. I think I won like 4 or 5 weeks and never made any money. And the year before I won like 10, and I was like, yeah, let's get it.
Yeah. No,
after the draft every year, it's like my team's the best. No, I think mine is the best. No, I think I got hopes this year. And then I just get absolutely smoked last year.
Yeah, I agree with you though. I mean, I think if there's a change in either a fan capacity to where it's, less number of fans at games or no fans at games, the worlds of fantasy sports and the worlds of betting and gambling and everything are definitely, I think, going to see an uptick. So, I think that adds another element to viewership of sports. I know for me, fantasy football brings, an intense care and desire to watch games that I would have no interest in other than for purely fantasy aspect. Yep. So, I think that you might see a big uptick in that, like you said, just because if people hadn't really been fantasy players in the past, or like to bet on games on the weekends or something like that. If those are people that had attended games in the past, then they might look for those other outlets to kind of express their interest and entertainment value in these games and these sporting events. So I mean, I think it's a big deal. Obviously, safety is a huge concern, and just helping to mitigate the spread of corona and everything. So I think it's something that is a big balancing act, but I think that there are a lot of precautions and a lot of things that can be done to allow sports to return. And in my opinion too, baseball is one of the very few sports that is very, very non-contact. I mean, there can be contact in it at plays at home plate and second base slides and all that stuff, but it's not like football or basketball where you're body-on-body contact for a lot of the time during the sport. So to me, even back in March and spring training time, I was like, I wasn't concerned that we were going to miss this much of baseball, because it's one of the few sports that is not a very contact-based sport. So that's why I'm still amazed that there hasn't been something figured out yet for baseball. But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a long topic to see. It'll be interesting to see. The NFL is conveying that they have very little concern that they're going to be playing on schedule this year.
I don't know how I feel about that. But
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens over these next few months as training camp starts. And, I think, I don't know if anything's been announced yet, but I highly doubt you're going to have any preseason games for the NFL this year. I think it's just going to all be training camp and practice. And then, I think they're just hoping that in another 2.5, 3 months, when the second week of September rolls around, that it's kind of good to go as far as at least the players playing, if there's fans or no fans, whatever. But it'll be interesting to see. I think it's going to be one of those things that it's going to take some time, and this year is probably going to have asterisks in many history books for sports and all the leagues and
Yep.
champions, and who knows how all that's going to look. So
Yeah. I think the only other thing with baseball too for the for stopping the spread, obviously, um, get the players tested like
yeah,
very frequently, which is kind of hard though, because for the general public, it's pretty tough to come upon a test. So, there's that where the players are getting this treatment, but we can't in society as easily. But
yeah,
do that, and then also for baseball alone, like being diligent, switching the ball on every out, because you think about it, the
yeah.
pitcher the pitcher touches the ball, wipes his face, throws it, catcher has it, throws it back, person that makes the out catches the pop fly, touches it, throws it back. After every single out, like switch the ball, maybe, instead of sunflower seeds in the pocket, players are carrying hand sanitizer, get some Germex going
Yeah.
throughout the days. I don't know, but that's something you have to be sort of cautious about too.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens, and I think that'll continue to unfold over these next few weeks, and I'm sure it's something we'll continue to talk about in the podcast in the future, and just development of those areas. If we start seeing sports come back, reacting, talking to those, how they went, how they were successful, how they weren't successful, I'm sure that'll all be some stuff we look to react to in some future episodes. But yeah, kind of coming to a close here. I know we want to continue our weekly segments that we have every week and shouting out some smaller streamers, as well as looking at a clip of the week every week. So I know that you had a streamer in mind this week as far as who you wanted to shout out for a streamer this week, so I'll let you go ahead and take it away and talk about him.
Yep, this week I'm totally giving it the support a small streamer of the week goes to Amps, and on Twitch his name is X Amps, and we'll put that in the description below. I'll put his Twitter in there as well. It's X Amps Media. But for those of you who don't know, this is Gage, Mr. Alabama boy, Roll Tide, coming from back in the day when we used to watch Nick Merckx. He played in that was the squad. It was Nick, Neo, and Gage, who is Amps. So they used to run the 3v3 wager scene, the big search and destroy tournaments. They used to do all that together. And sort of when Fortnite came around, they stuck together for a little bit and then sort of branched off. And Nick went his own way. And those two guys, they never really streamed. They sort of just played with in the tournaments. And that's how they were sort of going through their days. So they never tried to make a sort of brand for themselves. But now I know Gage is streaming, and he is a 3-time MFAM Gauntlet champion in Nick Merck's Warzone tournaments.
Yep.
So he is gross at Warzone. His squad is really nice. So he's a really good player, super cool perspective to watch, and he's always fun. His streams are awesome, good vibes, and I know he has the dream like everyone else. I think he's trying to, or has quit his job and is trying to pursue this full time and stay in his lane and try and become a content creator and a streamer. He has the skill to do it. He has the personality to do it. So everyone go check out Gage X Amps on Twitch and X Amps Media over on Twitter. Not sure if he has an Instagram. I'll look at it, but we'll throw that in the description below. So make sure you guys go check out Gage. Like I said, super good gameplay. He's dropping 20 bombs, 30 bombs, solo duo, solo trio dubs. So he's always freshening it up. It's a good perspective to watch if you're trying to get better at Warzone, or also just watch someone slay out. So that's the small streamer of the week that I want to shout out. All his information is going to be in the description down below, and we'll have it up on the screen on YouTube right now. So make sure you check out his channel, leave a follow on his Twitch. If you have the means, subscribe and donate to him as well. And the other big segment that we love to do every week, and you guys need to start participating in this more and more. Send your clips to us. I know that last week we just had our socials on the YouTube, and then in the description on Spotify and Apple Podcasts is the other place you can find us. But so the Twitter for me to send it to is at ZHack16, ZHACK16, and then Witness's Twitter is XWitnessLiveX. So send us your clips to that. You'll have a chance to be featured in the clip of the week. We'll shout out your Twitch, shout out your Twitter, and do everything for you on the podcast there. So if you have a nasty play, funny encounter, something crazy that happens in your game, doesn't matter what you play. I don't care if you're playing Minecraft, if you're playing Warzone, League of Legends, anything. We're gamers. We love it. We watch it. If you're playing like the God of War or Borderlands campaign and something crazy happens, send it into us. Link us, add us on Twitter, DM us, doesn't matter. But this one, the clip of the week, big name coming from CSGO into Valorant. Obviously, I can't play Valorant. I don't have a PC. I got my little Mac over here, so we're trying to get onto that grind. But 100 Thieves, they recently signed Hiko. He was a huge name in CSGO, and now he's part of 100 Thieves Valorant team. They're still trying to figure out the rest of the roster, but a crazy clip indeed from Hiko. He's going out as Sova, and yeah, let's just take a second to appreciate this play he makes.
Voice today, his mic doesn't work in game.
Revealing area. There they are.
Any molds in the chat? I was like, yeah, head time as well. Coming in to be maybe?
Two more of these, Jet on top. That's it.
I'm dead, I'm dead.
I'll be.
Shot down.
One enemy remaining.
Side, I think?
Wow. Oh my god, I don't know why I yelled at that.
I don't know. You should have heard what I just yelled in my stream, dude.
Yeah, man, he's nasty. I think that clip just goes into showing everything that Valorant offers. You know, you have him utilizing the utility from the Sova character. He uses the vision arrow to wallbang the first character because it reveals his location. I'm going to be honest, I didn't even know that you could wallbang through that wall. So watching him do that is pretty crazy. And then, you know, just like any other gamer, he finds himself in another situation where he's getting overwhelmed on the site as far as presence. He's really the only one on his team that's in that location. He even says in the clip, like, oh, I'm dead. Like, he just knew that a lot of people were coming in. And then he just goes through and flicks on 3 different kids on their head. Just click, 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 triple kill, round over. So that's one of those clips that to me is great because not only does it display just like him, his personality, his reaction to everything, it displays his skill in the game and just how nasty he can be with his mouse and keyboard. But then also it just showcases everything that Riot is trying to do with Valorant and taking in you know, the ideas of CSGO, kind of the ideas of Overwatch and character abilities, and then meshing that all together and creating this new FPS that a lot of people are really excited about. So yeah, I mean, if you guys haven't tried Valorant yet, Valorant is now out as a full release and is free to play. So if you're into shooters, FPS on PC, definitely check it out. It's a really fun game. I really enjoy it. It's another one of those games that I've used to kind of try and better myself on mouse and keyboard mechanics. So definitely check that out. But other than that, I think we're all wrapped up for this week as far as everything we wanted to touch on, everything that was going on this past week with different Warzone console releases, Sports World, everything there. So yeah, I mean, other than that, do you have anything to add to us today?
I think we're all good. I loved it. Episode 2, such a blast. Good to get it in the books. I'm excited to keep this rolling, and man, it's fun. I'm loving doing it every week. And like you were touching on Valorant, I don't even play it, like I said, but it was like on Twitch. I enjoy watching it. I watch Hiko. I watch Tens and a bunch of other people on Valorant. So I enjoy it. I don't even play it, and the gameplay is sick. So it's certainly something to check out. But like we always mention, we appreciate everyone for tuning in to episode number 2 of the Z-Hack and Witness Show. Follow us on Twitter at ZHack16 and at XWitnessLiveX. Those are the same ads for both of our Twitches, I believe. So make sure to leave us a follow. Stop in on the streams there. We're live all the time. So bring your energy. Let's have a good time. Let's do it all. Support each other together. But thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to episode 2 of the Z-Hack and Witness Show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Doesn't matter. Leave a like, leave a follow, subscribe, comment, anything you want. On YouTube, it's the Z-Hack and Witness Show. And then everywhere else, it's the same. So thank you so much, guys. We appreciate it. Episode 2 in the books. Peace.
See you next time.